everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Becca and wow, I'm excited to hang out with you guys today. I am back from my trip, which you saw a few weeks ago, and I'm just getting back in the swing of things. So today we are going to go back and look at one of my old videos. I am actually surprised that I haven't reviewed this haul yet. It is titled Massive Plant Haul, Philodendrons, Hoyas, and More. And I actually do not remember what is in this plant haul, so I remember it being a big one because the title would suggest. I remember feeling like weird about calling it like a rare plant haul, but I knew that if I said that, it would get clicks. And that is the, I don't know, tale as old as time as a YouTuber, you know, like using the clickable title, but also wanting it to be like real and like not clickbait. This video is also from October 2019, which I feel like is an important detail. This was 2 years ago. Also want to say that this video is sponsored by Warby Parker, but we will talk more about them a little bit later. The first plant that I want to talk about today is my ANTHURIUM VEITCHII. It is right here. This plant is a he. Most of my plants are girls, but this one is called the King Anthurium, so obviously he's a boy. And I'm so excited to have this plant. It is my first ever anthurium. There are 2 leaves, so there's another one over here, and then there is another leaf coming up right here, if you can see it. And here is that same King Anthurium today. It is so cute. Like we have one of the original leaves still right here. And then like, I think all of these other ones that have come out were all new. So we've got this little one over here. We've got this one here. We've got one here. And then we have like a big king daddy leaf right here. So yeah, this plant has been very easy to care for. I will say that the person who I bought it from told me that it would act just like a MONSTERA deliciosa, and they were absolutely correct. So if you are ever like looking for a starter anthurium, this is one that I would highly suggest. I have quite literally never stressed out about this plant, and it has put out 4 leaves in 2 years, which honestly isn't that many now that I think about it, but it kind of took a while to like get into the sequence of putting out new leaves. And since we've lived in this house, it's put out a ton. Like I think all 4 of these leaves have been in the last like year and a half that we've lived here. So I definitely have plants that put out leaves at a much more rapid rate, like anthurium wise, but I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's so beautiful. This leaf right here is truly a showstopper, and unfortunately there is some damage, probably just due to low humidity when it was coming out. It just kind of ripped itself, which is pretty common with anthurium. Like a lot of my anthurium experience this. So if you want to avoid that, you can do things like misting the new leaf as it's coming out, but it's kind of inevitable sometimes. It's gonna happen. When it is going to put out a new leaf, I noticed that this like bottom stem here starts to look a little pregnant, and it'll eventually come out. It starts off like really tiny and then it gets super big, which is always fun. And as you can see, we have this thing, which was a bloom, long finished now, but I did collect some pollen off of it. So if it ever does put out another bloom, I will try to pollinate it and get some VEITCHII seeds. We'll just have to see, but it's in this pot that I actually got from Walmart now, and it's living its best freaking life in this plant room. Let's see what's next. Okay, so next is the Philodendron brandiatum, Philodendron brandy for short. And these leaves are so cute. I actually got this as a bonus from a friend in the mail. Just a little piece, and I'm still waiting for it to root, but it is so cute nonetheless. I have it in this basil pesto bottle from Trader Joe's. Okay, so this brandiatum piece did not make it. I really don't even remember what happened to it, but I for sure don't have it anymore. I think I maybe potted it up with a larger piece at another time, but I do remember I had another brandiatum before and it kind of burned me. I was like, I never want to try this plant again, but I do have another one now that looks really good even still. It's like up at the top of my plant wall, and it's super cute and it's just living its best life. But I would say this is one of those plants that I don't know how long-term this plant can be in my collection. Like, I feel like anytime I've ever had one, it was fine for a little bit, but then it just started going downhill. You know what I mean? But I think I would like to try to grow the one that I currently have on a pole or something to see if the leaves will stay big. But basically what happens is the leaves get really small pretty quickly and it's not very cute anymore. And that's sort of not very fun to have, right? Needless to say, no longer with me. Let's talk about today's sponsor, which is Warby Parker. If you've never heard of them, they are my favorite place to get my glasses. You can also get sunglasses from them, contacts, eye exams, and you can shop online or in person. Their frames start at $95, including prescription. And you can do something called an at-home, just showed my address, and you can do something called an at-home try-on kit, which is what this is here. I started doing at-home try-on kits in like 2015 when I first heard of Warby Parker. And so I have some frames here that I wanna show you because, I mean, I do need to order these for video so that you guys can see like how it works. But also I'm thinking of getting a secondary pair of glasses because I feel like I really love and miss like tortoiseshell. So I'm going to try out some tortoiseshell glasses to see which pair I would like to have like for a secondary pair of glasses. So we're gonna cycle through these really quickly, and while I do that, I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about Warby Parker. So this try-on kit is completely free and you can order up to 5 pairs of glasses or sunglasses to try on at home, and there's no obligation to buy. It ships free and it includes a prepaid return shipping label. What I also love is that the Warby Parker app has a try-on feature where you can try on certain glasses, and I have found in the past that it is extremely accurate. I don't know how they do it, but like I've done it where I like have the glasses on that I'm doing the try on for, and then I will take off my real glasses and it lines up perfectly. It's exactly the same. Honestly, I don't know how they do it. It's probably the most accurate glasses try on thing that I've ever seen. But anyway, nothing beats trying on glasses in person, and you can definitely do that. Warby Parker has over 160 in-person locations, so you can definitely walk into a store and try on some glasses. If you live in the Tucson area, they just opened one in the La Encantada Mall, which is very exciting. So anyway, if you are interested in Warby Parker and you want to put together an at-home try-on kit, you can go to warbyparker.com/delaplants. That helps me, that helps you, and I hope that you're super excited to try on some new glasses. I ordered a HOYA POLYNEURA. It was supposed to be in one piece, so it was supposed to look something like this. But when I ordered it, the seller sent it to me in a really flimsy box and the plant snapped. And so this piece already had the root system attached to it. And this piece I just cut, I just freed it from the snap and put it in water. It does look like there's going to be a tiny little root coming out, but I'm just not sure. Hopefully the plant will be okay, but it's very disappointing to get this in the mail. So I hope that I can save it. In any case, I did get a refund, so what can you do? Okay, so this is the HOYA POLYNEURA that I have talked about so many times. I still have it, thankfully. Actually, the piece from the video that I'm showing is this right here, and it is tiny. Not very impressive. One of the pieces actually looks like it's like done with life. This piece looks pretty good. Let me show you close up. I can't say that this is a HOYA that has been like super happy in my care, like by any means. Although I have tried, and I did buy another piece that is a little bit bigger. It's thirsty right now, so don't judge me. It's watering day and I haven't gotten to it yet. But anyway, I do still have it, and it did recover from the box situation that I detailed in this video. Basically, the person sent it to me in like a tissue box wrapped in toilet paper, and it snapped in half. And I think I maybe paid like $40, $45 for it. And then when I told the seller about it and said that I was disappointed and like I just wanted to tell him that and not leave a bad review on Etsy, he called me a Karen. And I actually had to Google what a Karen was because I had never heard this before. This was in 2019. I hadn't heard it before. And I was just like, what? It's probably like the one time I've had a weird experience buying a plant from somebody like that. Okay, actually I've had like 2, but anyway. I still have it and I'm trying, and it's thirsty, and we're just gonna let her live. The next plant that I want to show you, I am so stoked. I hardly ever would haul a cactus because I don't know how interested we are in cool cactus. It is a CEREUS spiralis, And I just think that these are so flippin' cool. And I was lucky enough to find it at a local nursery. Okay, so this is one of the first like more rare cacti that I ever tried to get. I grew up in Tucson, Arizona, so cactus was always like a very normal thing, and I never really thought much about them, to be honest. As I said in the video, like I never thought that I would haul a cactus, but here we are, and here's the update. So it has grown quite a bit since, you know, 2 years ago. I would say it was maybe like this tall 2 years ago, so it's grown quite a bit. And I will say that all of the growth that it has experienced has been living in this house that we currently live in. It is kind of leaning, I'm seeing, so hopefully that corrects itself eventually. But anyway, this plant really did not do very well or look very good in my Tucson apartment. I had it sitting outside on a covered patio, and it wasn't getting enough light and also probably not getting enough water, because when I moved here, it like, I put it outside in the summertime and it got all plumped up like this. As you can see, she's looking very plump and beautiful. But before that, it kind of looked more like a skeleton. Like it was kind of like, well, you know how cactus get when they're thirsty. It just looked like that all the time, and I could never get it to not look like that. And so I didn't want to keep watering it because I was afraid of rotting it out. And eventually I put it in a cactus box with like a bunch of other cacti in it because I really like the cactus garden situation. But then I just felt like that sort of took away from like how magnificent this cactus is. So I eventually potted it on its own, and it's been super happy. It's sitting in the Tank's Green Stuff cactus mix, which I highly recommend if you do cactus. Definitely buy it. They sell it at Vintage Hill, and Jeff tells me all the time that it's like people are always buying it. People will drive from like far away to get it because it is such an amazing cactus mix. But anyway, I digress. It's a beautiful plant, and I've been so happy to have it. I'm excited for it to get even bigger and bigger. It's sitting outside right now this summer, and I hope that we'll get at least a couple more inches out of this summer, and then I'm gonna be moving it into the greenhouse with all my other cactus, and I think that it's gonna really love it in there. Hopefully it'll be pretty ideal growing conditions for it year-round, and we'll get more like year-round growth rather than just having like spurts in the summer, because obviously I bring my cactus inside and I have south windows, and that's great, but it's not as much light as they should be getting, in my opinion. Like south windows for cacti is really like the bare minimum, but lots of people have different thoughts about this. But anyway, I honestly feel like if you want to have cacti, you need to have a south window, or you need to provide a grow light, because if not, they're not gonna look very pretty. But yeah, so anyway, I still have it and it's very cute. Next plant I'm super excited about. It is a Philodendron Florida Ghost, and I polished her leaves just for this video because I had to. Look at how beautiful this Florida Ghost is. I got this on a Plant Purge website, or Plant Purge Facebook group. The Purge website was like really stressful. It was an experience though. Okay, so we have the Florida. So I was calling it a Florida Ghost. It's not a Florida Ghost. I had no idea like what kind of Philodendron Florida it was when I first bought it. I think a bunch of people corrected me in the comments, but this is just a Philodendron Florida, okay? And it is growing in such a weird way, and I'm kind of just like letting it do its thing, because to be honest, I've never really cared about this plant too much, but for some reason I've always kept it, and I don't know why, but it's a good plant. Like it grows, it's pretty, the leaves are fun, and it doesn't really expect much from me, so I feel like that's the makings of a good plant. And it probably should be growing like up on a pole, but as you can see, it's doing like well, I don't even know if you can see that. Let's see how I can show this to you. Okay, there we go. The trajectory is like up, and then it goes around, and it's going back up again. I don't really know. I'm just letting it do its thing. This is actually, I think, the last remaining original leaf, and it just fell off. I just pulled it off. It's done. She's done her time, RIP, and she's retired. So this is a plant that I have consistently knocked the growth point off of, and I don't know why with this plant specifically, but I've done it at least 4 times. Like there's an area right here where it has tried to regenerate a new growth tip like 4 times, and every single time I just like lopped it off. I don't know how I did that for so many times. Like I'm suddenly very clumsy with my plants. In the last like year, I've become much more clumsy, and it's super annoying, but anyway. We have put out, I didn't do anything, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4 leaves since the last time I cut off the growth point. And when you do cut off the growth point, it'll just put out like a more juvenile leaf. And then the leaf right after that was this one. So it pretty quickly got back into the business of putting out some mature leaves. Now we have like more skinny leaves up here. Oh wait, that's an old one. Hold on, here we go. Oh my God, oh, I almost knocked this one off too. I can see that the stem is like cracked, but I just sort of left it and can you see? It's like bent. It's not supposed to be. That is from me almost breaking it off. And it's somehow like fused back together and like it's not dead. So anyway, we're not gonna question how that happened, but I do still have it and it's really happy and it's very cute. I think I might like this plant now, actually, after like 2 years of owning it and being like, I don't know. I think I actually like it now because it kind of looks funky, you know? It's cute. Okay, so the next plant is very cute. This is a RHIPSALIS, and I don't know the exact type of RHIPSALIS. Basically, it just looks like a bunch of funny hair. If I had a pot that was a face or like a head, it would be absolutely perfect for this plant. I got this in a trade with my friend and I'm stoked about it. It is so cute. Okay, so that RHIPSALIS is no longer with us. I have since purchased a different one and I think that that specific RHIPSALIS just like isn't it for me. I think that I have a hard time keeping up with its needs. Like, I don't know if it's more thirsty than others because the stems are so thin. I have like a hair on my face that is itching me. Anyway, so yeah, I just don't know if that one's for me. There's lots of other RHIPSALIS that I like and have done well with, or like the jungle cactus vibe situation. And that one specifically, I failed at twice, and I think that I might be done with it after this one passes away, if that ever happens. I don't know. It is kind of holding on, but it's getting like thinner and thinner, you know what I mean? So I just don't know about that one, but there's another RHIPSALIS that I showed right after that one, so let's check that one out. I basically fell in love with RHIPSALIS PARADOXICA, so I had to buy one. It is just a little guy, and I'm excited for one day for it to get bigger. If I could ever find a pretty established large pot, I would be very interested. It has like a chain link effect, and I talked about this in my wishlist plant video. Okay, so this is that RHIPSALIS today. It is so itty bitty even still, but just looking at this video has shown me that no, it actually has grown, and I'm really happy for that. And I feel like a lot of the growth that it has experienced has been in the last couple of years, like living in this house. Like, this house has been so amazing for my houseplants. I look back at my old collection and like old videos and I'm just like, things were really not well in that house. Like, I had a few Hoyas that did really, really well in that house, but otherwise a lot of things just sort of like stayed stagnant and like would put out new leaves sometimes. But living here and in this sunroom, like leaves are coming out all the time, like sometimes even through winter. And it just made me realize like, wow, we did not have ideal growing conditions in that house. But anyway, so yeah, this one has put out a few new pieces. As you can see, this is new. And then when it's actually like really new, it has these cute little spiky things. They're soft, so they're not like gonna hurt you. But we have a few areas where we have that going on over here, and then we have like a split off right here. But I really, really liked this RHIPSALIS. I have found it really fun and easy. And actually, I mentioned in that video, like if anybody knew where to get like a bigger one to let me know. And I have since seen these like larger RHIPSALIS Paradoxa at my local nursery, Vintage Hill. And I'm considering buying one of the bigger ones and like potting it up with this. But also I kind of like the sentiment of seeing how this one will grow and change. I mean, I feel like when I up potted it into this like just slightly larger pot, it did start growing so much more. So I think maybe I was like not letting the plant grow to its potential when the pot was so small, but also the root system was super small. So anyway, now I'm doing some regular fertilizing and watering it much more often now, and it is so much happier, and it's starting to really like cascade, which I'm excited for it to get like super, super long and be a super fun story. Like my, what is that plant called? My Hoya compacta. Like, it's just like so big now compared to when I bought it. And I hope that this plant will have a similar story someday. It is a CISSUS discolor. I'm pretty excited about it. It already has some Oh wow, some pretty significant roots in the bottom here. I think that these are pretty sought after, and his plant was massive, so I'm pretty excited to have it. I mean, it is really, really beautiful, so I'll probably just pot it up like this. I would usually cut at every single node. Maybe I will do that eventually, but I kind of just want a long trailing piece. I thought it was really pretty. Okay, this is not a plant that lived for very long in my collection. I think I actually had it in water for most of the time, and maybe when I moved, I was like, I don't want to bring this because it's in water. I might have given it to somebody, or I might have just tossed it. I honestly don't remember. But yeah, so it's out in water for most of its life in my home, and CISSUS discolor is actually something that I see people growing outside in like hanging planters in the shade or something like that a lot of the time over here in the Midwest, where it's like super humid, very ideal conditions for them. It's not too hot, although this summer could really give that statement a run for its money. It's been very hot, but you know what I mean? Like just like a little bit more temperate conditions, it would be a lot happier. But I have like talked about this plant with nursery owners before, and they're all like, why do people keep this as a houseplant? Because it's very, very fickle, and the leaves are like paper thin. It's like a maidenhair fern, but like slightly, I mean, it's different, but like it acts like a maidenhair fern. You know what I mean? It's just like not a great plant for indoors. And if you have one and you are successful with it, honestly, I think you're a wizard, and that's super cool for you. Hasn't been very successful for me, although they are very beautiful, and I would consider putting one like out in my like front yard area where it's shaded. I don't think that I'll ever try to have one as a houseplant again. All right, another plant that I got in a trade is this beautiful, beautiful cutie string of turtles. And this is, I think like 4 or 5 strands that are pretty long. I'm really excited about this. It's already growing some roots in here. If you saw the video where I unboxed a string of turtles, I had ordered those string of turtles and then I got this in a trade. And also I learned that peperomia, wait, this isn't a peperomia. Is it? Peperomia prostrata? Is this string of turtles a peperomia? If you're screaming at the screen right now, I'm so sorry. Please hold. It is a peperomia. Okay, so this peperomia prostrata pieces, I don't think they lived because I ended up ordering a peperomia prostrata, which is this mess. And you know what? Everybody is telling me that I just have like a bad one, and I agree. I actually very much so agree with that statement, because I went to California just recently, as I said, and I saw so many beautiful hanging baskets of peperomia prostrata with huge little turtles. Huge little turtles? That's a bit of an oxymoron. You know what I mean though? Like the turtles were much bigger than what my plant is producing. And I have no idea why my plant is like producing like literally the tiniest turtles in the world. But I might try that one again with like just like a different plant, just like buy a big one and put it on my wall. I think it would be super cute up there. And like clearly I can keep one alive. It's just mine is weird and I don't know why. Like the one that is in this vessel is very cute, and I don't remember what happened to it, but again, I'm assuming that it died because I don't have it. I don't have any recollection of this plant, to be honest. But yeah, so not sure, but also I want to say that the vessel that is in is very cute, and like I don't know where that went. I wonder if I still have it. It's very cute though. I don't know, I have so many random propagation vessels. Maybe I just like gave it to a thrift store when I moved because I had too many. I don't remember. Okay, so there had to be a Hoya in here somewhere. Well, there's been 2 Hoyas now, but this is a Hoya. I'm getting tired. I've been filming for a while. Hoya macrophylla, something marginalis. This is embarrassing. I had one before and it got super beat up and I was really sad about it. So I actually gave it to somebody else and then bought a new one because I'm extra. So this is it. I got this from Gabriella Plants and it is so big. It's so beautiful. And this actually costs less than the one that I bought before, and it's like 3 times the size. So just a little disappointed with myself and my decision making that first time around, but this time around I've made a nice decision because it's so beautiful. This Hoya macrophylla is also no longer with us, and I think that this one I ended up bringing to a plant swap because I was just over it after a certain amount of time. I was like, listen, I can't do this Hoya. I love Hoya, and Hoya love me for the most part. A lot of them are very happy. I haven't killed that many Hoya. I've had bad luck with the Curtisii and the Macrophylla. But other than that, I've had a lot of really happy Hoyas. So anyway, I don't know why I feel like I need to justify the fact that I'm good with Hoya, but it just wasn't for me. Like this one specifically, like I had a lot of trouble with it just putting out lots of runners and never any leaves. And I think the issue is I wasn't willing to be like patient, but also the runners would eventually die. And you know what? It probably had flat mites and I did not know. And I feel like all of my Hoya currently have flat mites except for like 2 of them. So flat mites is like a recent discovery for me and much of the plant world. Also, I think there's like an animal outside walking around. Okay, maybe it's just the wind. Anyway, it would be a deer if anything, so don't get scared. I'm fine. Anyway, so yeah, like this one, I think it probably had flat mites now that I think about it, because it just like wasn't growing for me. It wasn't doing anything. And I'm upset about it, but also I'm never gonna try to have one of those again because I'm not interested. Long story short, it just doesn't interest me anymore. There's lots of other Hoyas that are way more interesting to me, and that one just doesn't make the cut. Oh, what is that? Who is she? Okay, so this is a ALBO MONSTERA. Yeah, it's an ALBO MONSTERA. I'm very excited. And it has been in water for a little while. She told me that she was having some trouble rooting it, but I put it in water as soon as I got it, and within a few days, it started putting out roots. I'm not sure if it's ready to pot yet. I love that the variegation is it's like very stable. You know, there's a lot of green and there's some beautiful like mottled pieces over here. Okay, so this plant pretty much stood stagnant until like a couple weeks before I moved out of that apartment to Missouri. And then it took a very long time to grow anything while we were living here. So I'm gonna take you on a little journey for this plant. So first of all, we have the original leaf that I hauled 2 years ago right here. It is still kicking. I have considered cutting it off many times, but I'm just at this point like, whatever, just leave it. And so this piece is like dying and she's slowly making her exit. But it's such a beautiful leaf and it's like the mother of this whole other plant now, and it's really exciting. But okay, the first leaf that it put out was this one. Really small, not that exciting, but it had variegation on it. And I was really worried that this plant would not produce variegated leaves because this leaf didn't have a ton. I was also very naive and didn't really understand how like ALBO MONSTERAs worked. But the leaf that it put out after that one, I guess was this one, and it got damaged in the move and it really didn't have very much variegation at all. And I was like, oh shoot, we're gonna have a green Monstera that used to be cool from like this leaf. Okay, so it got damaged in the move. I was kind of sad, and then it took forever, and then it ended up putting out this leaf, which I was like, okay, we got some variegation, things are happening, we're gonna be okay. And then it put out this leaf, and now I for sure am like, okay, we're fine. Because with ALBO MONSTERAs, oh wait, no, it put out this leaf like at some point, like before all these other ones. Sorry, I didn't see that one. Okay, point is, we have like a fully established plant now, and I could definitely remove it from this old leaf and it would be on its own. It's living on a plank now, and whoop, I'm just really excited to see where this plant goes and what it does because it's cute and it has a really sweet story. This was sent to me by a friend on Instagram, and I just love when plants have a story. Like obviously it's a cool plant, but it's even better knowing that it came from someone that I was friends with on Instagram, and they were very kind to send me this. And I feel like when people send you like a crazy cool plant, it's just like the best feeling ever because you can pay it forward and send somebody else a really crazy cool plant, and just like, I don't know, mess with the market, you know, be kind. Be kind and mess with the market because these plants sell for so much money, and it's kind of nice to be able to just like give a piece to somebody else. I gave a piece of my other ALBO to a friend, and it's just like the greatest feeling in the world to see someone open up their wish list plant and like be so excited about it, because I know how that feels, and it's amazing to give that to other people. You know what I mean? So anyway, yeah, she's doing fine. We're happy. I don't even remember if I showed this in the video. I'm like scrolling through the footage and I don't see myself show the plant at any point, but I talked about a Rhaphidophora decursiva. Oh my gosh, what the heck happened? Ooh, it looks good. It just looks a little bit bent from shipping, but This is like really big, actually. There's so much dirt coming out. Oh god. Check it out. This is a Rhaphidophora decursiva. It did not do well for me, like at any point. Like it was very unhappy, and I think that I actually kept it after it was like very dead, and I didn't realize that it was dead because it was still kind of green. But like basically it just like curled up like almost immediately, and I was like, what's going on? Like, I think maybe it also had root rot. I might have featured it in a root rot video. Again, my memory is not serving me well in this moment because this is one of those plants that I just sort of like very quickly took out of my memories, and like I don't care to remember it. But let's just say I don't have it anymore. That is the update of a century. I feel like that was a lot of my staple plants in my collection. Plants that I've had for so long, and you can see like where they started and when I got them. It's wild to think that like 2 years of growth brought me all of this. It's so fun to see the transformations of houseplants, and like when you have houseplants for a long time and you manage to keep them alive, it's very rewarding to see how they change. And like even if you aren't a person who posts videos on the internet, I really do suggest that you take photos of your plants periodically. I mean, I'm sure you already do, but like take photos of your plants and look back at those photos to see how far the plant has come, because it really is such an encouragement to see like, wow, I'm actually doing something. Like there's actually an impact being made on these plants, and like for them and for me, it's just really cool to think about like where I was 2 years ago living in that apartment, you know, freshly married. The pandemic had not hit yet. I had no idea. It's just really interesting to think back to what my life looked like in October 2019. It was very different than my life now. I mean, I could never have predicted that this would be my life 2 years later. So anyway, I just think it's fun to reflect, and I hope that you enjoyed seeing a little bit of a throwback. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you're not already, make sure that you are subscribed. I'm really trying to hit 75,000 by the end of October, maybe? We'll have to see. 100,000 maybe by the end of the year. That's a really big goal, but we'll just have to see what we can do. We're trying to keep it realistic, but also trying to like shoot for some goals here, you know? And I feel like when I let you in on my goals, they happen faster. I don't know how. I think it's maybe something with manifestation. Saying it out loud just, I don't know, puts it out into the universe, and I really need that right now. So thank you so much for watching and supporting my channel. It means so much to me, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.